Hello, me lovelies. I hope everyone can hear me. Just waiting for people to turn up that have been invited. Hello, Kelsey. Hello to Andrea. Just wait to see when people start turning up. So, just let's have a little look at my phone when I'm waiting here. Oh. Are you, Moto? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Moto?
You hear me all right, aye?
Yeah, can hear you fine. Video Craig's just come on. Saying he'll be about 10 minutes late.
Aye, cool.
Have you seen his app? Have you seen his app he's put on?
He's what, sorry?
His app, he's put a new app, no Video Craig, of when he was a kid. And
Right.
he looks like, do you remember E.T. Elliot? He looks like Elliot from E.T. You wouldn't think that sweet little face would turn into what he is today. Yeah.
So has he changed his avatar, has he?
Yeah, he's got one when he was a child, and he looks like Elliot from E.T. But
okay.
And you think, no way did that transform into the Craig we know today. Oh, so have you been keeping?
Aye, all right, man. I've just been chilling. Just see, because of my sleep's away. Obviously, I've been. Once I finish, obviously, with yourself on this, I'm going to go to my kip. No, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
you're 6 o'clock. I don't know how much you're planning. I'll stay on for as long as you're staying on, but after that, I'm not going to be scanning through. The phone's going down. I wake up early because I didn't get up to fucking tea time, man.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
But just like I don't know where John's supposed to be coming on as well, and
he texts me there, so he did. He says, "Tail on," and he texts me about half an hour ago, probably about an hour ago. If I don't make it on, I'll be sleeping. I'm dozing here, but I don't know if it's all.
Well, he texted me before. Well, contacted me before, so he might be on his way. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. You can never predict, can you? With John, he's does his own thing, lives by his own rules. But anyway, let's get started, and people can, let's say, Video Craig and all that contain. Well, Simon's supposed to be coming on as well. It's this whole palaver over Decca, which is it's bizarre the way it's all blown up in the last few days. The way it's all happened. Because with this, because people don't know he was, would you call it catfishing? Is that the right term to use? I don't know. I've never really known what catfishing means, but this reporter or investigator fooled him into thinking she was a cousin of that murder, that Thomas fella in prison who murdered Olivia. Now, from reading it straight away, I thought he's just trying to get into her knickers, to put it bluntly and crudely. That's what he wants. So he was going to support her and all this business. I don't know who this is, but you're not getting on. See, this is the problem with him that you get. Right, sorry, I'm banning you, whoever you are.
I was trying to get your actual StreamYard thing, so I could come straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
I was trying to get your number off Donna, but I don't think she's seen it. Then I just seen the wee link on there, know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's because what it is, I can't delete the link, and
I know.
And up and
Once
out
it's
there,
up.
and
Well,
it stays there.
once the chat goes up, so for, do you know what I mean? I think it will go away.
Yeah, but you Julie's, but yeah, so he did that, and he literally showed what to me is a very odd and disturbing character. And I think to me, what struck me, don't know about you, Moto, is it's the fact that he's never met her, he's never seen her in person, and yet it's as if he's in this full-on relationship with her, and he hasn't even got there. And that's like, that is scary, and control them from day one. Usually what controlling men do, and I know women can be controlling, believe me, they can be with men, but what they used to do is they get the woman in a relationship, then they start gradually chipping away at her confidence. Then you can't look at another man. You've got to wear what I want you to wear. He's right in there with no pause or no introduction. He's right in there controlling it.
Before even anything happened, he's actually having arguments where before he's even had any love affair with her, if you could call it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just a weird, strange individual. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm glad see these voice notes and stuff like that have come out. I think it's opened up a bit more about him. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's confirmed what is being said all the time. He is dangerous. If he got
100%.
hold, which he has apparently got hold of in the past, hasn't he, a vulnerable woman, woman, he'd have her fully under his control. Fully. That's what's obvious. That's horrible. But that's what got me straight away. I thought he's right in there, and he's not balanced right as well. You can tell by the way he's going on, the way he's talking. You dare. I found them the most the same when it's like, you dare, you're telling me that you're looking at a man, and when you pleasure yourself, you better be thinking about me. And he's always talking about, he's not talking about having a love and sexual encounter. He's talking about literally grape. Doing it great when they're at it. That's what he's fancy. Like, I'm going to take it up the rear end. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So he's confirmed absolutely everything that John and Donna were saying about him. Everything they were saying is confirmed in those messages. So he can never, and I don't know how anyone can be following him and call him, a great man.
Let's face it, you would never give out the allegations to anybody that you didn't think or whatever that was true. To get called anything like that, it's horrendous. You would never. Do you know what I mean? It's a major allegation. Do you know what I mean?
It is. It's absolutely horrific, but it was so full on. That's what got me. I thought, no, this person is extremely warped and dangerous. I'd like to know what the women in the chat think of that. If a man came onto you so suddenly like that and started saying things like that, you'd really be out the door. But as I say, there's some vulnerable people out. Well, we know there's vulnerable people out there that would think that was love in some way. That controlling. And God knows, horrible man. Absolutely vile, horrible man.
She gave a wee bit back by saying she's sleep between the sheets, but that doesn't merit what he came out and said right after it. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, wow. And what he calls it all the time is role play, right? He even calls this masturbation role play.
Yeah.
Listen, I know he's been caught for 3 or 4 of these masturbation videos, but many is are actually out there. Do you know what I mean? I believe that a lot more out there for women that are probably, I don't know, that have been took on by him, kind of thing. I think these are maybe been catfished. These ones and went right. We'll kid on with a woman. We'll get him with a Thomas the Tank. Then we'll put it out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there'll be more. Guaranteed there'll be more.
Oh, there will be.
and he's not even addressed. The next day, do you know, he said sorry for the camera angles he's fighting. That's what he said sorry for. The camera angles he's fighting.
Oh, he's not going to take ownership of it at all. And I say, when you're saying about there'll be others, it's how many others, because he's so confident. It's like anything else. When you hear him in there, he's so confident, steaming in like that and talking like that. You're thinking, he's used to doing this. This is his modus operandi. That's how he has relationships with women. That, in other words, he abuses them. And there's no other way you can talk about that than it's abuse. And say that this woman had been real and she was in the situation where she's tearing her hair out because her cousin's been sent to prison for life and she's confused. She can't get it into her head because her life will be affected by this as well. My God, fancy if something like that happened in your life and you were related to them. She's in a very vulnerable position, and you can tell by the way he's talking, don't get upset, don't get, all this business. You can tell she's come to him, because we haven't seen all the messages yet, but she's gone to him in a vulnerable state, clearly vulnerable, and he's jumped on that. And thought, I've got you now, I've got you. He's a predator. There's no doubt about it all. He's predatory.
100%. These are the sort of things. Just say if I was talking about it and she did come out with that, and you go, listen, I'm not really want to speak about that. Do you know what I mean? I know that doesn't make you a bad person because he's done that. But this is something that I don't want to bring into my between us or whatever, or even talk about it. But he goes right in and says, give him my number. I know how his mental health and all that will be hanging in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He tries to noise up Dan G by doing a knife crime thing in the middle of Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
And then he had the nerve to put that video up again after all this was released. The day after he put that, knowing, well, I took this, that was trying to wind up people in Liverpool. Because he put it up again, and it's like, wait a minute, are you having a laugh here? Chrissy, do you want to, if you want to jump on the live, I sent you a copy of the link, Chrissy, if you want to. Chrissy's just in the chat if she wants to join in. But yet, it was like, he's just, I tell you what, Moto, right? Anyone that knows anything about the Scousers, you don't want to, well, the type of people, right, we can be, I suppose anyone can. We can be difficult people at times. We can be brilliant people. But one thing that always runs through Liverpool, we are very, very, very loyal to our own when something goes wrong. It's that type of thing. It's like, we can slag Liverpool off. We can slag Scouts off. But my God, don't take that anyone else can do it. It's that mentality. So when he's doing that, about one of our little girls that has been murdered, he's running a real risk, and we have long memories as well. But that's what I love about Liverpool. Liverpool people will, when the chips are down, everyone sticks together and fiercely loyal to Liverpool. I say we can slag it off, but no one else can slag it off. So so he's taking the dangerous thing there, I tell you now. But what
the thing about it is, in my books, it's not really about the guy who's in prison. It's how Decca's reacting to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, it's how Decca's reacting to, and what he'll do, and what the limits that but there's no limits, should we say, and what he'll do, and in order to get into somebody's pants. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he's absolutely right. And this is what made me laugh as well. I thought, how pathetic, but laughed in a condescending way. I don't mean I thought it was funny. I just thought it was absolutely pathetic. Was when he said, call me master. And I thought, the day that you call someone who lives at home with mama and papa a master. He doesn't have his own places. What woman would call him master? And the other thing was, when he was talking, she said, you're looking at other good looking fellas. I thought, don't tell me he thinks he's good looking.
Nah, I know.
I mean, if
I
you
know.
put him in Planet of the Apes, right, as one of the apes, he wouldn't need much monkey. We wouldn't need much makeup, would he, to get fit in Planet of the Apes? But I thought this. Oh no, I think if anyone was tottering on the edge or thought that, because at times, and I used to think this with John, I used to think humble dryer. I used to think sometimes no, he was going too overboard sometimes with it, no, too full on. But I think after they came out, you realised he isn't. Everything he's been saying has been on the money, so he hasn't been exaggerating. But now we're starting to see this,
and I've been told a story, right, and obviously it's regarding one of Decca's victims, right, and nobody would have noticed this, maybe you know, even yourself, right, but I was watching one of Decca's lives, and do you know he actually replayed one of his crimes. He actually replayed one of his crimes. As I was watching it, he was explaining, oh, who doesn't do this and who doesn't do that. And do you know he actually replayed one of his crimes to the audience? And do you know what I'm talking about? But he didn't put it down as a crime. It's something that's in his actual, right?
Oh,
right. But obviously I can't say what it is, right? But I noticed that, and he replayed that. He replayed that, and I went, why is he doing that? Is he doing that to annoy the actual victim, or is he trying to justify what he done that time or whatever? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he'll be playing the victim.
Do you know what I mean?
He can't decide if he's the bully or the victim.
Yeah, because now he's
exactly, mate.
Now there's this thing, isn't it, Craig, where he's turned around and he's saying that he was violated as a child by a man.
Yeah.
And which I always say to people, you have to be careful with anything like that, because people who are abused and offenders usually come out with this when they're in the hot seat, you know, over something. And it's always very strange that they decide to tell everyone, guess what, I was abused when I was a child. I remember thinking another one that did it was Darren J, who came out with this elaborate story, which was pure nonsense, when he was looking for the sympathy vote when the police were coming through the door of his mama's store looking for evidence and stuff like that. Oh, I was this, and he came out with this elaborate story, but you have to be very careful. So he wants to now be the victim, you know, that way. So what do you think of that theory, Craig?
I find it very odd that you would tell somebody that you've spoken to for less than 48 hours on social media about the darkest, deepest secrets that you've got from your entire life, going back to 11-year-old, but you've never spoken about them with anybody else. But you've chosen this person that you've spoken to for about 36 hours online. I just don't believe it. I can't really say any names, but I've heard him tell that exact same story to other people as well. It's just
that's right.
Well, it's every time he's told it, it's been completely irrelevant to the conversation that was going on. He's just brought it up out of nowhere, and he's looking for sympathy. And you know, I don't believe him.
I don't believe, but Chrissy said something which I always say: just because he was abused doesn't mean he gets to abuse other people. Now that's true, and what used to always get me, Craig, was when someone, especially when it came to, you know, if they were abusing children, and they go, oh, you know, I was abused when I was young and all that, and you say to yourself, well, actually, it's worse that you're doing abuse now, because you know the damage that it's
you know how it feels.
It's
but I have also heard before that quite often abusers were abused when they were younger. So if it is true, it may well explain why he's doing it now. But there's something about it. It's the way in which he communicates it over just stinks to me. I just don't believe him.
No, it's too planned. It's too laid out.
He's too calculated.
Yes, I mean that message he sent to the YouTube swindler looks like he's copy and pasted that to other people.
Yeah, it's just he is absolutely horrendous. Now I know this. YouTube swindler, and I don't know, Kelsey, if you'll be able to get the link for the YouTube swindler. It's some that this is it. Was that a woman or not? Because I seen something. It wasn't a. It wasn't.
Yes, it is. It is a woman because I've been communicating with her with voice notes, and it is a woman.
Yeah, but
that is the only thing that I know for a fact is the truth about that. Do you know what I mean? I know she's definitely a woman. That's it.
And Decca was communicating by voice notes because you could see. I think you could see the other side of them, but obviously they weren't getting played. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've heard some of the other side of them, but I'm under strict instructions not to send her voice to anybody or make them public. I'll stay faithful to that promise.
Well, you have to, don't you? Because what she's done is absolutely stoic work. But I bet you I'd love to ask her one question, and that would be: did you ever expect he'd go so full on and so quickly and pick up on it with immediate effect like he did? That's what's shocking.
She got in touch with me. I think she'd been speaking to him for 4 days when she got in touch with me. And after the 5th day, she was like, Craig, I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. She was like, he's on my case from the second I open my eyes and he says I'm active on WhatsApp. He's like, why, you're awake? Why haven't you messages already? It takes nothing, just a good morning text. And she's like, oh, I've been busy. I've got my own business and stuff like that. And he's basically like, I don't care. You've been speaking to me for 3 days. I'm the most important thing in your life now, which is
aye. I heard the messages. Why messaging me? You should be messaging me first thing in the morning. For fuck's sake!
It's just absolutely scary. But thank you for that, YouTube swindler, because what you've done what needs to be done. Now, anyone that's sticking by Decca now, and all these so-called people wanting to do these fights, they've got no excuse now. They've got no excuse to say, oh, well, we don't know. It could just be trolls, people out to get him. It's his own words. It's, it's out there now. So no one can ignore it. But some people are intending to ignore it, aren't they? And that's what I find more shocking.
Aye.
I mean, I've had people in my comments say, how can you bring this up about the Tommy Cashman thing when you made jokes about Ian Huntley? And I've said to them in the comments, and I'll say it on this chat now, I did tell a very sick joke about Ian Huntley and Holly and Jessica, and I've apologized for it since. But never once was I thinking I want to be Ian Huntley's friend. The two things are completely uncomparable in my eyes.
Or supporting.
Yeah, I wasn't supporting him. You know what I mean? Or sort of saying I understood him. It's like...
He's desperate for it, isn't he? He is gagging for it. So he can't be getting it. It's like a warning sign and alarm goes out where he lives that women know not to go near.
Well, I've been contacted this morning by another girl from Bridlington who's had sex with him recently. So I hate to break this to you, YouTube swindler, but he's been cheating on you. And apparently he was that aggressive with this girl in bed, he's broken her rib. Now, I don't know if this girl's telling me the truth or not. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. But she seems very serious in what you're saying. To which I replied to her, would you want to come on a podcast? And she's not gotten back to me yet. So we'll wait and see what happens with that.
She might be
Jedi in the house. Hello, Jedi. Humble Drive.
Oh, Jedi. Do you know what? I know that Jedi's had things to say about you, and he also doesn't know whether he likes me or not. But I like Jedi. I don't know. I know he's with Paddy and all that, but I actually like Jedi. I like the way I think he's funny at times because he's not offensive to me anyway. He says that he doesn't like me, but he says it in a nice way. Oh God!
So yeah, if you've just joined us, Decca Heggie's a wrong'un.
Yeah. Pablo Tescobar. Who's that?
And a different level. And for anybody new or old, it's been took to the next level now. It's definitely been took to the next level. He doesn't care what's in his way in order to get into a woman's pants. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But
no.
Go on, Moto.
He's still not addressed the fact of that guy, the guy that's in the jail. So how's he no address? What if it was one of his family members and all that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, he wouldn't care, would you?
He would want the fucking, he would want him tortured every day. Do you know what I mean? But he's like, no, I know how we'll be feeling and all the rest of it and blah blah blah. Fucking.
It's just, it's absolutely. So I wish I had someone here in the chat at least that knows still supports Decca, but you could have a conversation with them, a level-headed conversation.
They're very difficult to have level-headed conversation with these people. I've tried it before. You can ask them a question, they'll never answer it. They'll just tell you something that you've done in the past, or they'll say, well, what about what Danny Christie did 10 years ago? And it's like, that's not what I'm talking about. It's pointless.
Aye, and none of them put their face to it. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, dude?
None of them put their face to anything either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing I funny said the other day. There's another YouTuber that is a supporter of Decca Heggie that I had to go at over him. His comments he was making about trans people and gay men, but he was very offensive about it, so I took him to task on it. But yet he's a huge Decca Heggie fan. Now, that was it, Jack Draper fella. Yeah, right. But the thing is, as he was going on, people are supporting me, said, yeah, but look who's supporting you. Idiots. They're all anon accounts, but you've got your face out there and put all that out there, so said you put your face to it, your name to it. They're not daft. They say all these things, but said they do it anonymously. But this is it. Another thing what I'll say about Jack, I'm not going to go on and on and on about him because I'm going to leave him to it, because no point trying to educate an idiot. And I've got a funny feeling he's not very well endowed in brain matter. But he's saying, I'm not getting involved in the drama. I'm not getting involved in this thing about Decca Heggie. No, what he's saying is he's not getting involved in it because he wants to work with Decca Heggie.
Well, fair enough. He's got his opinion on the first thing you said, right? So we'll just let that. We'll let that slip. But what's his opinion on all this here? No, is a guy not get kids himself?
I
think.
Well, he totally has kids.
I mean?
He has 2 boys, doesn't he? But this is the thing that I'm saying, right? So I just want to say this, what you just said, because I want to pick up on it. He's saying that he doesn't want to comment on Decca Heggie, but without any coax nor anything, he decided to go out and put out what was offensive. It's offensive views on LGBTQI people. If he wants to talk about LGBTQI people, if he wants to say that there's only 2 genders, fine, go ahead and say it. I never argue with anyone. But and if people want to say that trans women aren't women, fine, I have my views on that. Trans women are trans women. Women are women. They're 2 different things, and I'll say that straight here now. But he didn't need any temptation to do that. But he'll not talk about Decca. He won't say anything about Decca.
Well, if he doesn't want drama, he shouldn't even spoke about that at all. Do you know what I mean? You're probably going to get more drama off that than anything else, rather than bringing up the Decca thing. And you're probably right. He's probably want to work with the guy in the future and maybe do fights and all the rest of it. And if that is the case, man, that just makes me sick to the stomach. Knowing what I know about the guy or whatever, knowing what's everything's on his acro and right up to date, these things. Do you know what I mean? And like I says a minute ago there, I've actually listened to Decca playing out one of his crimes, right? But he didn't make it look as if it was a crime. You know what I mean? It was all slipping off his tongue, and I went, "You dirty cunt, man." Do you know what I mean? Who doesn't do this and who doesn't do that? And he was actually playing out one of his crimes of one of his victims. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know there's deeper than this. See, there's a lot of people that with Decca, right, the Decca scenario, right? Now, there was a guy the other day came into my comments and went, "Listen, mate, I was 50-50, but after hearing all this now, I'm definitely on this side of the fence. I hate him, obviously, with that wee girl scenario, right? So You've say that again. Sorry.
Who was that fella? I know there's a fella. There's a fella keeps his face half covered, doesn't he? And he was following Decca, and he came right out. He's done videos saying, "No, this can't. Not having anything to do with him after this. You can't ignore it."
Aye.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a lot. You're going to get a lot of people that don't really know the full ins and outs, and they're late to the party, kind of thing. As in knowing what he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's mental. It's mental. I don't know where else you go with him. And listen, another thing, I believe that birds of a feather flock together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. This like attracts like, as I always say, which it does. You attract yourself to what you give out there. That's what happens. But Craig, what I want to ask you, right? When you first cottoned on, what made you first think, I want to expose Decca, I want to go in on this? Because you went in on it like John Humble Dryer 100%, didn't you? What was the point where you thought there was something needed to be done here?
So when I first started watching Decca, when I first came across Decca, I didn't think that there was anything sort of suspicious about him until he did a live with Sean Atwood and Steve Wraith, in which whatever the conversation was led on to, Decca would always bring it back to whether people thought he was a nonce or not. And it just reminded us of when I grew up with a guy who was blatantly gay all the way through school. And all he used to talk about was how he wasn't gay. And then when he came out as gay, nobody was surprised. And Decca was just talking about how he wasn't a nonce that much. And it just reminded us of that lad. And I thought, there's something not right here. And then that was around, and about maybe 10 days later is when the Clare's Law phone calls and stuff like that started to come out. So my opinion of Decca went from, to be honest, I believed him at first. I thought he was being trolled. And then I saw the way he represented himself on that live and thought there's something not right here. And then those calls came out. And then the more and more I looked into it, the more I found, and he'd say something on a live that would very easily be proved distrue. And it was just really, it's easy to make content about Decca because it's that much absolute pony. You know what I mean? People say, why don't you make videos like this about other people? And I was like, well, you can't. The other person has to be talking absolute crap all the time in order for you to do it. You can't do it when somebody's sitting talking sense and telling the truth.
And the thing is, you follow the philosophy I always have. And that is that the best way to destroy someone or the best way to bring them down is to laugh at them. Mm-hmm. Taking them seriously empowers them.
Especially when he wants to be the big hard man. The best thing in the world you can do is just mock it. Because let's be honest, it's 40-year-old to be saying, right, I want to find the hardest man in the country. It's like, why?
Well,
exactly.
Dr. Apple, he's another one that does it brilliantly. He just knows to take the mick out of people. He knows that because, and that's the way you do it. You just take because who was it? Well, I can't remember his name. Brilliant director. He did The Producers and Young Frankenstein and all that. Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks was asked how he could laugh being a Jewish man at Hitler and the atrocities of the Second World War. And he said, laughing is more destructive towards them and towards that philosophy than he said taking them seriously. Because he said when you laugh at them, you reduce them to a joke. And he said that's what he was, a pathetic, dangerous joke. And that's true. That's definitely true.
Another one, I can't get into too much detail about it, obviously, but there was another one where there's and it's true, this girl, quite an attractive looking girl, she was born gay, right? And she was going to be doing something with Decca, and straight away Decca was right in there. Oh, I'll turn you straight, I'll do this, I'll do that. And he wouldn't leave her alone. And that
of course he was.
She had to bomb him out. Do you know what I mean? Instantly.
Disagree with him, you're just jealous, aren't you?
Yeah, but if you disagree with him, you're just jealous. So
yeah. Oh, that's it. I'm just going to get on to little
Just to tell everybody asking in the comments, 8 p.m. on Monday, 8 p.m. tomorrow is my video about Decca in these voice notes.
Oh, definitely. I'm just going to... well, let me send a message.
Bad things in the house.
Where are you? Come on. You've got to be on the air. It's not going to happen unless you're on the air. Come on. Hurry up. Yeah, he's... Oh, well, come on. Then he doesn't appear. He better get on here, Moto.
Who's that?
Humble. You better get on it because he's essential to this discussion. He's the one that really went for it 100%. And I need to talk to him about it, about what he feels like now that he's actually been, he's been proven right, him and Donna. So we better get on here.
Are you aware that after talking to the YouTube swindler for 3 days, he made her delete all of her social media and even sent her voice notes explaining, well, you on Facebook, you go to personal details and then you go to settings and you do this and you do that. And he made her delete all of her social media in case the trolls contacted her after 3 days of talking to her. It's not even nearly normal behavior, is it?
Well, he's not. He's totally twisted.
There's no even an explanation to that.
No,
there's not even an explanation to that.
It's just absolutely this. He is bizarre. That's why I've gone so strong in on him now, because I think once I heard those voice notes, John, go to your Instagram. I'm not putting out again because people try jumping on and I don't know who they are. Go to your Instagram. It's on Instagram. I've sent them to him twice on Instagram.
Right, you remember he had an open panel, right? And it was like, if you didn't agree with me, booted you off. So I went on there and I says to him, right, blah, 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 and said a couple of things. I went, Decca, just come clean. They went, I says, you can't come clean about nothing. I says, you get done with a ratio there. I says, he says, no, it was more. I called the guy a prick. And I was like, come on, man. I was like, listen, did you call the guy a prick or the other 10 that you get away with as well? Oh, no, they were NFA. He'll never admit to nothing, right? Then I think it was that Leslie says, well, how does that guy that was on before you not take the acro to a police office? And I went, I'll take the acro to a police office. I says to him, Decca, so if I get permission to take what I've got as this acro, fill him it, there's a PNC number or whatever on it, take it to a police office, film it, and he went, no, you're not credible. And I went, it's not me that's credible, but I says, it's the police, and he went like, boom, booted me off, and he went, see, it's just
here he is, look.
Me.
Here I am. I can't. I'm in the jungle tonight, so I've had to quieten all the monkeys not doing just in case somebody else tracks me down. Someone to run just now.
Apparently the King of Thailand's after you now, Humble.
Aye, I know. They don't know where to jump on a plane to Dubai, Thailand, Bangkok. It's like it's just like playing games it's playing chess with pigeons in there.
Let's say one thing. Here we are, video Craig, right, Craigie. If you had done that and you thought you wanted people to think you were in the jungle, you'd have all the side effects going on, wouldn't you?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, we're lazy ass there, couldn't be bothered.
I had to turn my aircon off.
I'd have Chrissy sitting next to us going, what noise does an elephant make? Very good.
That's by the way, before I forget, how old are you in that, Abby, you've put up? Of yourself?
Right, so somebody put it. I think it's Darkbot Secrets 5 put it up on the community post and put goofy cunt. And I was like, well, surely you must have noticed that. That's before I had plastic surgeries on my ears, so it should be goofy lugsy cunt. And then just to show them I'm not bothered by the photo, I changed it to my avatar. I think I was about 8. I think that picture was taken in Salou.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Darkbot Secrets, that used to hang around with some really nasty, horrible things. I blocked it well over a year ago. Just sad people who like to give out.
The new Darkbot Secrets isn't the old one.
Oh, isn't it?
No, it's just.
Well, we're saying something horrible about
the old one had some level of intelligence.
Somebody's jumped onto that, 100%. That's not the same one. That course is probably something to do with the man that's in the hospital now with an abscess in his leg. And
In Ward
another
44, isn't he? Ward 44.
I think there's five channels or something we find connected to him. That's Riz.
Have you seen this? Can you read the comments? I've just put up.
I'm actually sitting with my top off on. I don't want to get you excited, so that's why I'm sitting here with my bitch tits out, just chilling.
With your titties
Humble,
out.
do us a favour when you come back through. Bring us a
Tap.
croissant when you're coming back through, will you?
A croissant. I thought you were coming. I thought if you've got an 8-hour stop, you'd be as well staying in our night was. And when you take the first flight, if you've got an 8-hour stop, just stay the night and rather than waste 8 hours at an airport.
Send Dobby.
Now, Moto, right? Can I give you an advance warning? You're on my live now, so I don't want any eating noises, drinking noises,
no farting,
snoring.
No fart,
snoring.
No going to the toilet, no sucking balloons. Oh God! Do you know
I'm going to give a confession, right? See, right, you know I always fart and all that, right? When I'm on my knees, right? So instead of the balloons, right? My missus like, you better not do the balloons on the thing, mate. It's annoying me, right? So I went, right, fuck it. So what I done was I says, listen, people, every time I feel as if I'm gonna shit myself tonight. So every time if I'm gonna fart, I'm gonna mute it. But I was actually doing a balloon.
Do you know what?
Do you know what I mean?
I heard they've been made illegal in the UK.
What?
You need to get a license to get the weekend.
Oh, yes, Freemasons. But you know, Scones, I said to you, didn't I? Humble. The funniest thing, and it was like so bizarre, I thought I'm in another dimension here, was when you were on Moto and you just out the blue turn around and said, oh, I've got to have another balloon. And I thought, I know when you just want to crease up there, and then I thought, have I just heard someone saying I've got to have a balloon? Oh, good God. It was like walking into another dimension, it was. But anyway, John, I'm thankful that you've come on because you're essential to this, because I've got a question for you, think you need to, because really, what this has all done after a long time, because it's been a few years you've been campaigning, now I feel it has got to the point where you've been proven 100% right, haven't you?
Well, see, the strange thing is, and see the messages, that's basically overall repeat. Like 4 years ago, we were sent messages similar to near enough word for word, except he told this same girl, she's actually from the northeast, but no names mentioned, that the exact same story about him being sexually assaulted, and all the rest of it. But it was never, his backside was never touched. It was always his flabby bits, his flabby stomach. It was grabbed. That was always the kind of story that came out. But it was word for word how he fell in love with her, never met her. How she was to come to his mum's house and she was going to make him dinner and I totally love you, babes. And then he totally turned like the tide. He was like the tide. He turned like the tide because she never answered a message within, I don't know, like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like, as Craig says, speaking to this other woman who's been undercover there, that's his MO. But he's got a system that works. He's not clever enough to think of another system, and he's got away with it so long. So why does he need to change it?
Yeah,
he's comfy because he's getting police protection as well. That's another thing. He's comfortable with his police protection.
Well, he's obviously get pulled. He's obviously, I mean, it's inevitable he's get pulled there because why did these alleged victims, not get safeguarded when they were living in Carlisle and all the rest of it? Especially a girl with learning difficulties. The first thing they should have done was safeguard her. He's obviously pulled. I mean, at the end of the day, you just need to check up Company's House and everything that I've said about Tashi and Hodgson and CID. Again, that's his dad's drinking partner at Harrowby Catholic Club for years. The two of them were best friends. Ashley Douglas went to school with Tash Ian Hodgson's son. Fact. He admitted selling him cannabis one night in her life. It's like there's too many little things. And it's all linked. He's always had the backing for the police. We knew there was some sort of backing for the police here.
Diane wants to come on. Just let me. I'll get that link to you, Diane. I won't be a second. Diane's brilliant. She is, and Diane knows all about control and abuse.
I mean, I've been told, right, with people that's been in the house. One of them, like the manager that was working with him, he can't even. He's not even allowed to say the guy's name. I don't want to mention the guy's name. But I mean, everybody that's been in his house said that the mother eats when she's told to, when she's allowed to eat. It's like none of them's nice. This diet chips here and sits and caused Decca a poof. Again, just a poof. The mum's eats when she's told to eat. That's why she's about 7 stone soaking wet, and the rest of them are sitting there like Father Flynn. The only one, and he's done quite a lot of intimidation to alleged victims' statements, etc. Was Barry. The only one that really cares for the mum is Barry, the brother. But again, he was. It's well known in Harrowby that the camcorder out when his sister was, I don't know, probably underage, video calling camera, letting people interfere with his sister for a few cigarettes. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. It's like they all know something on one, so that they.
But how do you feel?
The most disturbing thing I've heard about that, though, is none of them even smoke.
Aye. Yeah.
No.
Well, none of us smoking were 13, 14, 15, 16, did we? You know what I mean? But then the day you could always get 50 pence for a cigarette at school.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
A 10-pence cigarette could gain you 50 pence at school. It was quite a good way to earn that.
But what do you feel like now, John, that this is all starts? Do you feel this is coming to the point where you could see a conclusion at last to it?
The only thing I'm glad, Diane, is see quick nipping away. It's like Donna says, how do you eat an elephant? I was like, I don't know. How do you eat an elephant? She said, one bite at a time. And that's basically when you see, when I first started getting in on him, he was pulling young lassies, and he was managing to pull them from 19 years of age and up quite easily because he was going through that many. He was messaging that many a day. He was getting to pull. Because he was getting a lassie who's maybe just come out of a relationship, feeling vulnerable, next thing she's met this big movie star who's got books out, who's on the news and all the rest of it. And then that ends up in tears. And how do I feel now? I'm overwhelmed a bit because you look at him, he's sitting there asking me to eat half a cheeseburger and half a fucking cheese in his t-shirt or his vest, I should say. But he's got half a set of teeth. He looks older than his dad, probably. But again, should it had to have been like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a COVID idiot right about my chair. Am I 4'9"? I stand a massive chair. I used to be a lovely 5'11", right? And because I'm getting older now, I've lost 3 inches off my height. And this chair, let me give you its proper title, right? I don't like bragging, as you all know. I do not like bragging. But this is called an Imperial Peacock chair. I mean, I don't want to miss out the Imperial bit. Imperial Peacock chair. It's not just your normal.
I tell you, and I would buy that off you. I'd buy that.
Oh,
it's
a lot of money. This.
I clocked that a long time ago. So I did. I've got an eye for stuff like that.
It was made by. Oh, I'll tell you. Well, here's Diane now. Are you, Diane?
I've got a lovely swinging one.
Hiya.
Swinging what?
Hello, Diane. How you doing?
How you doing, Diane?
Now, Diane, I'll just introduce people who don't know Diane. Diane, you've got a lot of experience in controlling men, haven't you? And so that's why it's good to have Diane on because she knows the subject well. And so what's your thoughts on this controlling behaviour, or what have you seen in this, Diane?
It's scary. I just spotted it in my off. The way it goes on, it's sickening.
Yeah.
And my exes were like that. It shows all the display of my exes.
Yeah. But you know when you see a woman like that, because this is what I saw, the way he went in there full on. Am I right in saying that he'll go after women that he knows are, vulnerable? He wouldn't go after, let's say, I said this the other day, he wouldn't go after someone like Scouse Emma, because Scouse Emma would be too strong for him. straight away. She moves up with the nonsense.
Really?
And that's it. So it's stalking ground
That's
is vulnerable women, isn't it?
when you're vulnerability.
I think
like a prime example. Like let's put him beside somebody like Radio Babs. He wouldn't even go there because a couple of somebody with a bit of no vulnerable, no broken would just be like, just cut him right off, and he can't. I know through experience he cannot face anybody who's more intelligent than him and no scared of him. And a couple of girls to the northeast put him right in his spay, and that was him. He blocked him. He couldn't deal with him kind of manipulating him as he was doing to them. He couldn't deal with it, and so he just moves on to the next one.
He looks for the vulnerability to take advantage of. That's what his MO is. 100%.
Definitely.
Well, Julie said this, and this is what makes it more scary about Decca. She says they chip away a little at a time, but Decca didn't do that, did he? He was right in there straight away. That's what I said. That's what's alarming about him. He didn't even spend time waiting, did he?
No. This is another thing. So, and that just touching on what Humble says when he came in and he's heard voice notes. The only really thing that's different for this one is maybe the guy in jail, because he's been. Do you get what I'm talking about? That he would befriend this child killer and all the rest of it, because he's been coming out with these things for years. He's no changed the way he's acted. This seems to be his chat up line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how he goes about trying to get into birds, and it either works or it doesn't. He's just I don't know. He's just fascinated about talking about and a sexual nature, and it involves raping, for example.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not like romantic, is it? It's all about he wants to ruin them and all that horrible.
That's that same MO, Diane. Exactly the same MO as when I first came across him. That's the exact same messages I was getting for the same girl. And then I was starting to map them about. I was sitting my map. I'm going, there's no way. I said to Donna, check if these girls could possibly be conspiring. There's no chance in the world. There was no even one link, not even a mutual friend with some of them. I mean, what's on his ankle to what's known in Carlisle to rumours is nothing to what he's actually done.
I mean, Simon said that on the Facebook account that they used to share, that when he said, because Decca changed the password when they fell out, but Simon eventually got back into it. And he said that he was just copy and pasting the same message to any girl he could find on Facebook. And if they replied, his fourth or fifth message to them would be very sexual, along the lines of, I'd like to fucking abuse you, and stuff like that. And the amount of them the amount of accounts that it just blocked, it was said, it was in the hundreds of girls he was messaging.
Well, there you go. The tonight I put that message out tonight, Craig, and it was I don't know if you've seen I'll say the word cock. I don't know if you've seen. I've got a very big cock. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but if you want to see it, I'll send you it right now. But I'm not sure.
I've got 3 new cock videos of YouTube.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
So when it went on to James English in 2019, James says, so what happened? Because James English believed he was telling the truth as well.
Yeah.
He said, well, this is what happened. They said these videos are sent to consenting adults. I mean, they all sent them to this troll, this humble dryer, and then. But this is the thing, James. I sent them to that many people. I don't know who sent them. It's like he was trying to get people done with revenge porn and that. That the first video I ever get sent had been shared that many times on WhatsApp that you could only share it once more. You can share it 5 times. You can share something 5 times. That's how many times it been written out. The first video actually was the train. That's Thomas the Tank. Thomas the Tank.
And Bluebells, my missus is blocked in your chat for some reason. I don't know how.
My chat?
Yeah.
I've never blocked her.
I don't know. I don't think
you read mods.
No, so Kelsey wouldn't block anyone without asking me first, I can assure you. And the only other moderator I have is Jimmy
Savile.
Cranston. No, Jimmy.
Oh.
Oh God, Jimmy Cranston. Yeah, so they're the only two.
Maybe they've done it by accident. I don't know, because it can.
I like Jimmy Cranston. I've got a lot of time
Well.
for Jimmy, but since
Well-
let's just call her PB, get in his ear. Jimmy kind of pulled
Oh,
away.
she doesn't have anything to do with them. Don't worry, she doesn't have anything to do
Does she?
with
Is that away now? Because I didn't want Jimmy getting enrolled in it.
Let's say something
stayed away
here.
from him.
Let's say something. I'm going to try and clear up and see what's happened to Bluebells here. But Diane, what's this about when little whitey rabbits, little whitey rabbit, which we're going to bring back, whether he wants to or not, spoke to. Is this it? He spoke to Decca years ago. So when I'm trying to sort this out,
My mutual friend Josh, he interviewed Decca years ago. It was a few years ago before he found out about what he was all about, and he added them on Instagram. And he says within about half an hour, he was adding all of his female followers, over 40 of them or something.
That's what he does. That's how Diane. That's how him and let's call him Cyclops, so you don't get any privacy complaints. Cyclops, the Beast of York. That's how him and Decca fell out, because he started adding all Cyclops friends, female friends on Instagram, and then Cyclops started getting messages from these girls that he was protecting. Anyway. And they turned out, they started saying, "I'm getting all these weird messages for this mate of yours," and some of the lasses. That's how they start. That's how they originally started, because he was phoning Cyclops up at 6:30 in the morning saying, "Go and do a video, do this," and he's like, "What if you're this governor? How can you go and do these videos yourself?" And that's what he does. He just goes about looking for people who's maybe. I was speaking to a guy last night. He was actually sectioned. And he just got out of being sectioned, right? And he was telling me, that Kenny was approached with known fine. Kenny's he gets depot injections and all the rest of it, but he's tech savvy, and it was right up Decca Street. So Decca was in all these bipolar PTS group, and they big up somebody in your chat there, right? Because I know after Decca spoke to a certain person who, again, the guy believed him. In fact, I'll just say his name, Rob. Big up Rob Aldorf in the chat there. He's genuinely PTSD, right? Genuine. And as soon as he spoke to Decca in private, Decca went from having bipolar to complex PTSD. Now, anybody that's suffering from I've not got PTSD, I've not got any trauma or anything, but I understand it now. A couple of years ago when I've had a clue, I understand it totally now. So anybody blagging somebody else's story to then go and claim, you're got to get found out, right? He's no got complex PTSD.
No way.
He's no got bipolar. Yeah. He's just got a narcissistic personality.
I'll tell you what complex PTSD is. I hope don't mind me bringing you into this, Moto, but do you remember that time when Anton said something and you just went absolutely into the stratosphere? He said something horrible.
Yeah.
That's complex PTSD. And Dingo Decca has never once displayed any of that. So there's no way.
He's not got it. It's like anybody that's genuinely got it, and we can go for people who's been abused, to people who's been in the army, who's witnessed lost limbs and stuff like that. You're genuine complex PTSD sufferers. Craig, you've got a touch it there too, haven't you? You've got you're kind of hyper.
I've got ADHD.
ADHD. So were you given medication then up to the age of 16 to stop your medication, because that's just kind of rules in Scotland with it?
No, I wasn't diagnosed till I was 35. I took the medication for about 4 months and then didn't bother since.
Never bothered.
35 years of being used to it. ADHD is a neurological brain disorder that you're born with. It's nothing remotely like PTSD.
Well, I'll tell you a story. I went to doctors. I took a handful of pills, right, try to get asleep. And it was pills called Seroquel. I was told I'd get asleep with them. I was taking drugs a vast majority of the times. I took 10 500 milligrams Seroquel. Well, did I start hallucinating or what? I ended up in hospital, right? And the next thing I seen a horse and cart running up, and I grabbed the nurse and pushed her into the side that was speaking to me. She was like, "What's wrong?" She could see, like, I said, "You try to tell me you never seen that horse and cart?" So this went on for about 3 days. I had tourists looking underneath pipes for my dog. There was no pipe, like a water pipe that run under the road. I'm at one end, they're at the other end, and then the reality's kicking in. There's no dog. I've no dog with me, and that went on for about 3 days. So when we came to the end, I said, listen. She said, I think you've got bipolar, John. I said, listen, doctor, I'm on a come down. That's what I've got. I've not got bipolar. So they were willing to. And Seroquel is diagnosed to people with bipolar, so they're quite willing to write me off with bipolar, even though I was coming off the bloody drugs that they were going to try and put me on. And I thought to myself, I've not got bipolar. I've maybe got a wee touch of, I don't know, madness or something. That's probably.
I think you might have ADHD yourself, John. I've said to you that in the past, haven't I?
Possibly, and my mind is 100 mile an hour all the time, but
yeah.
Since I've came,
and you do certainly have the hyper-focus element of it, definitely.
Well, listen, if you get into the co-op, a bottle of water's 50 pence. If you get into a pub, a bottle of water's £1. If you jump in an aeroplane, the same bottle of water's £6. So, Ken, if you're not happy with yourself, maybe change your destination, because that's what I've done. And since I've came and get sunshine and that about us, it's just totally lifted that big dark shitty cloud that's hanging over us. So maybe, the same bottle of water's worth. The same bottle, £6.
How much is a bottle of water in the jungle?
In the jungle, depends how much you want me to tell, so Paddy Conroy can come out with his next conspiracy against me. I don't know. I just drink milk at the coconuts, mate. Right now.
All right.
And the coconuts is not what you'd get in Britain. They're green, and they're lovely. You just got a straw right into them. But we've not got straws in the jungle, so we're using bamboo canes in the
bamboo.
Paddy's got me doing 10 years for this acro. I mean, he's actually, he thinks I've actually went to the acro office, climbed up the drain pipe, went in the window, and then decided to file through the filing cabinets. And obviously Donna's been standing at the bottom of the drain pipe for me to fling the file out the window. That's where we're going here. We're getting 10 years for it, according to Paddy. But big up Paddy for the biggest conspiracies of all.
Oh, it's his birthday, It's his birthday coming up, Paddy's birthday.
He's the only guy I know that's got 2 dates of birth. So he said he was born on the 22nd, but his real date of birth's the 24th. What that one? He said to me.
Well, I've got a surprise. I shouldn't actually say this because I hope he's not listening, but I've got a surprise birthday offer for him. I'm going to wrap myself up and lift myself to his door so he can have a.
He hasn't
you
got a dog.
better not be making any more teddy bear, putting his wee face and wee cute teddy bears, because he said you're cyberbullying the infamous Newcastle underworld gangster. So I don't know how you're going to go on with that, and he's maybe got to put you as a cyberbully. So maybe you should put him in a pirate's outfit, because you'll be proud of that. That's how he gets started.
Oh no, he's a cute little teddy bear. He is, when you look with his chubby little cheeks and his cheeky little grin and his.
Well, I actually get word tonight, and right from somebody who knows. I need to watch what I say here, because I don't want to get somebody into trouble. Let's just say somebody close to him, because it's quite a close-knit community when you actually start looking in about it. I mean, they're very like that cousin's married onto this one, and it's quite close. So to find out something isn't hard. Paddy Conroy is suffering from severe depression, and he's suicidal right now.
Are you sure about that?
Yep.
Is he?
That's why I've only went in them once in the last couple of days, because he's suicidal and he's seriously depressed. So I don't know if he's using YouTube to lift the depression of him. I don't know. He's just going to listen. Some of these things he's saying there, saying, I said I was arrested 10 times for assaulting children. No, I was never arrested 10 times. What the police said, there was 10 malicious communications coming about us regarding me assaulting children. And Donna, it was okay. There was over 120 odd calls or something made up.
Wait a minute, Humble, right? Wait a minute, just to say this. Whether he is in that state of mind or rather that bad state of mind, I'm sorry. He goes round saying the most horrendous things about other people, accusing them of the most horrific things. So he can't then go doing that and expect people not to come back at him. And then say, oh, I feel tough, get up.
He's wanting to celebrate if I get the jail. It's like when he heard that the John Henry Sayers name were in the trial for the Friday night murder and all that, and the case collapsed because they'd used a police informer who was a heroin addict that said there was phone calls coming into a phone box. The prosecution went and checked. There was no phone calls. The case just collapsed. It was built on lies. Again, with police informers. I was on the ship for years, and to use a heroin addict, as a police informer, for their word to stick. Imagine that, he said that there was phone calls coming into a phone box. They went and checked the phone box. They went and checked another 40 odd phone boxes, and the case collapsed because it was a case built on lies. Paddy Conroy thought they were getting lifed off that day and went and bought £500 worth of fireworks and £500 worth of beer. Yeah, and this came for a lot of people who was there. And see, when they heard that it collapsed, they kicked the beer at the people who was at the party. They kicked the fireworks up into there, and just went proper off his head. It was like the first time we Cookie met him. He was a young boy sitting in front of his wall. He'd a skip there. Paddy seemingly get raided, and the cannabis that was hidden in his skip outside went missing. Now, Cookie was a young boy and got flung in the back of a Jeep. And he was taken to Paddy's house, or somebody's connected to Paddy's house. With his pal, he started getting slapped about, asking if he took... No, I tell a lie. That wasn't for the cannabis, that was for the safe. The safe that would get stolen at his pub. But anyway, the bar of cannabis went missing out his skip at the front of his house. He took two young boys into his house and started slapping them about, where he actually pulled the chainsaw out. And it wasn't Paddy, but it was one of Paddy's mates. But they pulled the chainsaw out and told Cookie that he was going to start cutting his pal up if he didn't come right about this safe. So it turned out that David Glover had stole the safe, right? And there was $3,500 in the safe. And David Glover said it was the only time he ever get money off of Paddy for doing any jobs for him. And Paddy wasn't expecting David Glover got remanded, and Paddy wasn't expecting David Glover to go out. So he told Cookie, I want 10 grand off you. And if you don't give me that 10 grand, Ken, your users are getting done in. But anyway, David Glover was out the jail the next week, and he was kind of took Cookie under his wing, and Paddy never said boo to David Glover about the $3.5. David Glover felt my still you're saying.
Humble, we're getting off the subject that it's actually about Decca Heggie, and we're going on to
sorry.
Paddy. So let's get back, because we can do one about Paddy at a future date. But just to clarify, you didn't turn around and say that Paddy was suicidal when you went in on him. You actually said completely the opposite, because someone said in the chat that did you just say that you went in on him harder? No, you didn't. You said you backed down off him, didn't you?
That's what I don't like about people in here. They manipulate things.
Yeah.
That's why I've went after Decca this week, because if somebody's in that state of mind, if he's seriously depressed and suicidal, I'm into the deal, pull away. But there's some things I just need to point things out.
Well, I've just blocked that person because they obviously on here not wanting to have an intelligent conversation. Because I say I invite people on that disagree with things I say or believe or anything, because that makes intelligent conversation. But when someone's coming in just being confrontational about it, I won't have it, because that doesn't make for a conversation. It just makes for one of these war things that doesn't make any sense.
They try and manipulate everything to the it's like they'll jump onto another chat and say, "Oh, Humble said this," or at the end of the day, Humble say it as it is. Of course,
but the thing is, what it is, and I'll say this again, you've been proven right. I believe anyway, it's at the stage now where no one can question you over what you've said about Humble Dryer. I think you should be applauded for it. You were right all the time.
I'm not wanting any applause for it, and I don't want any. At the end of the day, I'm just grateful now that everybody's seen him for what he is. And the more he goes and does these fights around the country, the bigger he's got to get exposed. So it's a win-win situation.
But at the same time, right, this is it. People can't, well, some people are still ignoring it. That's up to them. If they want to ignore it, it's their way. But, you can't get away from the fact that you actually sacrificed a lot, didn't you? I think you sacrificed stress-wise, you and Donna. Sacrificed a hell of a lot stress-wise, because for a long time you were just screaming into the wilderness, weren't you? And no one was listening. But
I was in a position to do it, and because the business was good, and it was pre-COVID, before COVID, and I was sitting there a good revenue coming in legally, paying my taxes and that, and I was in a position to do it. Would I do it again? Fuck knows, man. That's a hard one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to have to go, everybody. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, my channel for the Decca Heggie documentary.
Give Chris our love. Take care.
Take care now, Craig. Bye-bye now. But anyway, Dan, have you got any more thoughts on this, Diane?
No, not really.
Because I don't know. It's just absolutely strange. It's very, very strange. And I'm glad, as I say, Humble, that it's gone to this stage now where people they've got no excuse now. So here's a question for everyone. What do you do, or what approach you take to people who now are still just saying, oh no, he's a good man, we're going to side with him, he's being cyberbullied. After all this is out there, what approach you take to that now?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. Either they've got something themselves that he's got a hold on, or maybe, I don't know. But I mean, there's Rhonda in the chat there, right? I don't see eye to eye with Rhonda at times, just because we've got a kind of similar personalities. But I mean, that girl's no reason to lie. She was a friend of him. She trusted him. She believed that we were trolls, and he went and told her to do a check. I don't know what the hell possessed him to think that lassie was sitting with her own girls' kids, grown up now, yeah, possibly grandkids, I don't know the ins and outs there, was going to find out and then cover. I don't know what the hell possessed him to think that lassie there was going to stick up for him. I can never get my head around that. He told her to go and do one of them, and then tried to get his mum to persuade Rhonda that it was all lies and everything. He can't lie. The mum's recording between him. He was trying to prime his mum up to speak to Rhonda, and how it got recording put out there, I don't know. I'm not interested. All we know, it's out there. We've got Dot.
Here's
another
one as well. Here's another one as well. PB, right? PB, who goes with Pizza Face, right? Harptone at Humble Dryer to tell Cyclops to get his acro out, right? No, she's way thing, man, as we spoke the other night, and what's getting in the way, right? But since then, Paddy Conroy has come out with a Sarah and a Claire's law, which includes 3 underage girls, I think it was, on it. So where does she stand in this position now? Who safeguards her children? Is Pizza Face going to safeguard the children? No. What he does the very next day is he says that he's been infiltrating Paddy Conroy. You couldn't make this up, honestly. And if I look into this in my brain, I think, as I say, birds of a feather flock together.
But Paddy Conroy's
I mean?
got the same ones that I had in my ear getting me to go after people. He's got the exact same ones saying, we're not saying Decca's innocent, but this one can't talk. But they'll not put their faces to it. That's the difference. I know exactly who's whispering into Paddy Conroy's ear. And they'll make you go after other people. But in the same time, Paddy's hoping that we get done for getting his acro and everything. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I mean, Decca should be more careful what he does with his phones. That could be one reason. Maybe he sent an email to people by accident. That could be another reason. I mean, there's a whole book of reasons out there, but it's getting somebody into court and proving it. Is it in the public interest in finding out who got that? Probably no, because at the end of the day, what you got to do, what's the court got to do for outing a convicted sexual predator who's a significant risk to women and children? Is it in the public interest? No.
That's why he won't do. But here we are to Whitey Rabbits here. It's going about Danny Christie. Danny Christie has made a career and all that, and keep away from Decca Heggie. Yeah, and what he wants to stop doing is bigging up and supporting people who actually want to work with and are backing Decca Heggie, which is bizarre to me, but that's exactly the situation that happened the other day with Danny Christie. Bigging someone up and supporting them when he knows damn well that they're supporting Decca Heggie.
Well, I'm always going to have my soft spot for Danny. It doesn't matter what Danny was to do in life, because
you can. I'm just not interested in him anymore after what happened last night.
Is it only because I was promising you to get a date? but I wasn't sure.
No,
Alice is in
I
the
tell you
chat there.
now.
I wasn't.
No, I wouldn't be arsed with Daddy Christie. Full stop. I've never thought
But if
of
you
him
could
that
tape
way.
his mouth up just for 10 minutes and have that physique, you wouldn't got to say no. Come on, be honest.
No,
Right, yeah, right. So here's one with the Danny Christie situation, right? So Decca thought he was a smart ass, right? When he got in tow with Dougie Joyce and Dean Lynch Ward, right? And what he done, right? So to this day, he's saying, "No, he's made a channel off the back of my name." No, mate. He's made a channel after you trying to bully him because Dougie Joyce comes on the camera and says your fight's been scheduled for Friday or whatever. If you're not there, you're saying sorry. So the pride get the better out of Danny Christie. He went down and fought him. In my opinion, he got the better out of him. If it was going another round, right? So
Another 10 seconds, mate. Danny was dusting him. Danny walked out that ring and shook his hand for Danny, no for anything to do with him. I mean, I'm surprised Danny never actually knocked out Diet Chips when he got out that ring because that's where it was going. Danny, he said at the end of the day, when the blood started running into Decca's eyes, and I've had blood in my eyes, it's hard work, right? And he was getting dusted. Danny was a better man and done that day. He won that fight. He had a 5 stone weight disadvantage on him. You know what I mean? He went down there himself. There was only meant to be a couple of people in the gym, and there was about 20 people in the gym, and they were all hoping for Decca to win at that point. But how the tables have turned and how the mighty fall.
Dean Lynch Ward came out with a very valid statement. He says he was watching Decca's body language in the gym, and he says it wasn't of a killer instinct, it was of a guilty man. Who would want to run about shaking somebody's horn, he was trying to grab Danny's horn after getting him torture. Calling him a nonce and calling him this and calling him that. He was trying to shake his horn running about the gym. Know what I mean? After the fight. Do you get me?
Well, Danny was at court there a couple of weeks ago, and the judge basically said you should have never had this restraining order on. You've got grounds here to get it removed. And Danny's not bothered his ass. He just went, Ken, what it is what it is. I mean, at one point I was saying to Danny, listen, you can't grass a grass, mate. He's trying to set you up here. He's like, John, still it is what it is. I said, you're just got to end up back in the jail, mate, for Christmas, not here with your kids. You can't keep laying them do this to you. Nobody's got to call you a grassmate for defending yourself here, saying he's setting you up. And he still just let it go. Which I thought, well, at the time I thought you were a bit daft doing that, Danny, but I can see why you done it now. Pride. If you're a proud man. And, and Decca's out there saying, Danny Christie's made statements about me, and I was known fine that Danny Christie hadn't made a statement. And if he did, it would have been in his defence. But no, he is. I'm proud of him. And I just hope that he doesn't relapse, because I've been there for 2 or 3 years and I've relapsed. Yeah,
well,
so I hope
we'll get off the subject. We'll get off the subject, Danny. I'll just say one thing. I just hope that he could show as much interest and respect to his 9-year-old daughter, no matter what she ends up developing as a person, or he, whatever. He should show respect to that, not. Well, I'll just leave it at that. I'm shocked. I'm extremely, extremely shocked and not eager to go anywhere having conversations in that area again. But anyway, getting back to Decca, because we'll start winding this up now. Because for some reason, my internet's been absolutely terrible. Usually my internet connection with this provider is brilliant. But what I want to ask is, and this is it, John, because keep on pushing on the same question, because I think you're not answering it fully.
Sorry.
Right. For years, right, I say you've done this, done that, and you've gone on and you've tried to have some. How long have you been how long were you on this case now? Because I remember
4 years now. 4 years.
4 years.
4 year past March. 4 year past. 4 year past. I have very little time off. It's again, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. But you just need to look at them now. 4 years ago, I put 20 years on a man, and I'm grateful that everybody liked me, or love me, or whatever. I don't care. And the fact is, everybody's seen now that I've never lied.
Well, this
Never
is
liked
it.
it.
I'll say one thing about it. You don't go out for the popularity stakes, do you? You make this a
No, I'm
mission.
not interested, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in making money from YouTube unless if I do, I'll take it in a totally different direction. Just go and film wildlife or something, fish or something off a boat, or monkeys or whatever. Maybe when I'm up smoking salvia up the tree, getting palm leaves and stuff like that off the mint.
Film on monkeys. That's so random, isn't it? I'll go film on monkeys. So
You know, because
random.
people like, if you want to make money off of YouTube and that, go and just film an elephant or something. People love animals, and I done one where a guy jumping off of rocks, diving, and coming up nearly stepping a sea lion. I chopped it up a bit. It wasn't my video, and it gets something like over 8 million views in a shot, which would have been what, 900 quid or something per million views. It's on the wrong channel, unfortunately, but I'm not interested. But if I do, that's where I'm going with it, and I'm going. Everybody, where do you stop? You need to draw a line somewhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd love to do, a channel where, I mean, I like this where it can get into debates, but the thing is, you always end up saying something and you'll get flack for it. But you have to expect that because not everyone thinks the same way, so you will get flack for it, and people like to pigeonhole you as well, as like what's just said about you, where your words were twisted round, your words are totally twisted, and then it starts off a big thing. But I'd like a nice little, channel where they just do a separate one where they do entertain and things, that way where it's talking about.
I mean, bearing in mind the Humble Dryer started off slagging a man. I was making up cartoons and just slagging them, like big prehistoric face ears, and just making people laugh. And then, so the more I learnt, the more my humour went. But when I turn YouTube off, my humour's there. That's motorsports. When you meet me, I'm no like what you see on YouTube. I mean, and I'm no like anything. I'm nothing like what I'm on YouTube. You have to keep your chin up here, or people trying not to off your pedestal.
What is humble is when you're on YouTube, you're on YouTube, you're coming on to say something, to make a point, to give an opinion or whatever. Behind the scenes, which I've found out, is you're a completely different character. You can
completely different
because you're not making a video. You can talk about something completely different, and as I say, we get on really well now, really, really well.
Yeah.
But can't.
People have to realise that we were at loggerheads for years to get to this stage. So again, that was because we never spoke behind the scenes. And again, anything we do say, it's totally confidential. It doesn't matter if I follow up with you, Anne, 6 months from now, nothing what we've said. When Birkin, that Cyclops started putting things in that out about me, I had no other option but to come out and defend myself and say, well, look what I've got on you. Don't go there with me. At the end of the day, or I'll pick, I've got emails there that he sent to the police. He was emailing a copper 20 times a day. DC owns, blah, blah, blah. I've got his number and everything. He was emailing them 20 times a day, and he's coming on and saying I was a copper's pencil to Decca. I've never made a statement about Decca, and I never will, because you can't live by the sword and die by the pen. It's simple. If you're living by the sword, you die with the sword. You can't. If you live by the pen, you can die with the pen. You can't.
I think what is, you only ever run to the police when you really, really have to. I think when people run in, I'm being bullied. No, this is stupid. That's what happened to me. A big campaign was to report me to the police over a year ago by someone who was supposed to be,
you live by the pen, and you're allowed to go to the police.
Yeah,
you're a law-abiding citizen.
Oh, I know what you're talking
if you're ever in court, if I was ever in court, and you've got a law-abiding citizen pointing me for the dock, I've not got that person to shout, you're a grass. I've got myself to blame. Because at the end of the day, but if it's somebody there with a criminal background and that's what they do, let's say, for example, Decca was standing in the dock pointing at me, he's going to be then a grass. It's like a law-abiding citizen, you can't call him a grass. You have to call yourself stupid for if you were going down that line. You'd never go and call a law-abiding citizen a grass. It's like Donna. If she wanted to make a statement to the police, she'd be quite welcome, but she wouldn't make a statement to the police and give names, because at the end of the day, she knows that could maybe jeopardise my position. And that's, at the end of the day, it's like when people get into the kind of, I don't know, certain kind of ways of living or whatever, it's like you know what you're getting into. You know, don't go Pete Tong, as you said about somebody earlier. I'm not saying any names. You know, if somebody gets hurt or whatever, and they're in a lifestyle, don't go crying about it afterwards, because at the day you were happy to go and gamble $1,000 and 10 grand a day, a money that wasn't. You know, don't go crying about it afterwards, because that's the life you entered. You're happy about it.
What Owen's talking about there is because I can't understand, and this might be because I have an Italian heritage on one side, and it does give you a certain outview on life.
That's where that angry bit comes from.
Yeah, people used to say that. I used to get that. Oh, it's the Italian coming out and you're the dictator.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but what it is that when someone enters a life, what you're saying, you've got the Italian view actually, John. When someone goes through a life of crime, especially what they call gangsters, and I hate using that term because in Britain, they're not gangsters, they're thugs, they're not gangsters.
They're businessmen.
I think it's insulting. It's insulting to genuine gangsters who are businessmen, criminals behind the scenes, but businessmen, and they wouldn't wipe the shoes on what we call gangsters. They'd say, little thugs, they'd say, get away, we can't have you around. Around us, common little things. That's what they'd be like. But what it is, if you go into that lifestyle, I'm sorry, and something bad happens, either that you're seriously injured or you
end up dead or 10, 20 years in jail.
That's it, dead or whatever. Guess what? You just have to say, well, that goes. You know, it's the old criminal saying used to go, do the crime, be prepared to do the time, and also if you go into that lifestyle, take what comes with it.
If you can't do
like you're saying,
time, don't do the crime.
You don't go running to the police saying, I want justice, because guess what? You didn't give a crap about anyone else's justice when you were doing that. A simple thing which I'm going to pick him up on tomorrow. Sam Walker. Now, Sam Walker's all right. I don't have an issue with him, but he's sort of going on. He's been asked to pay back money to the.
I know. I made a comment on it yesterday, Sam. Yeah. You're kind of putting your head on the. Yeah, but because at the end of the day, get offered to give them £1 a week. Keep yourself out. Don't keep yourself below the radar, because as soon as you put it up, listen. As soon as you think the police are below you, they'll take the carpet from you. We'll have to. They're the biggest gang out there. Yeah, if you want to call anybody a gang, the police are the biggest gang out there. And as soon as you get too big and stick putting your head above, they just take you out. Simple.
But what he's doing, right, as well, it's not just that. I've got no sympathy with him with the said that I left a remark when he was saying that he's being asked to pay back this money as proceeds of crime. I said, look, wait a minute. That's called teaching you a lesson, and the police see it. It comes under the banner of preventative policing. In other words, they're punishing you. It can be seen as and they're saying, right, so you want to go into crime, what we're going to do, we're going to take all that away from you and you're going to pay it back to the government, right? Now, he's given out, but what's made it distasteful, right, and this is what I think is wrong, it's going on, I'm not giving it to a corrupt government and I'm going to do this. Well, he's done one where he's going around with homeless people and he's saying, it's £20, I'm not giving it to the, excuse me, what was he dealing with? How did he make that money? Those people on the streets, a lot of them will be on the streets because of what he was selling and how he was making his money. And now he's trying to be a hero of the common man and the poor destitute man. Yeah, a lot of those people on those streets are on those streets because you were selling them the stuff you weren't selling them. And he needs to take a bitter pill that actually just pay it back. And this is another thing, a difference about the Italians and the Americans, criminal fraternities. When they're caught, John, they just give it back. And they just do it. They don't want to, but they say, there we are. They don't make a big hullabaloo about it. They say, there we are. You want to take it, then they move on. But in some way, with Britain, it's like, they're always moaning and crying about it. It's like, no, you've been caught. You took your chance. You just say, all right, been caught, fake cop, as they say. That's the old saying, is it? There isn't the old school criminal or, bad ways. They used to have a code that they live by, and there was no point moaning about it. They just say, yeah, I took my chance, there we are. And they get on with it. They don't go trying to make an issue out of it. where he's making.
And can I just interrupt? Can I jump in the chat, Anne? Because my battery's here is at 7% and it's killing it in the live stream. I need to jump through the other room and I'll just stay in the chat. Thanks for having me on, Diane. It was lovely speaking to you. As much as I never let people get a word in, so I'm going to jump off. And thanks very much, Anne. Chat. Thank you,
John. Thank you.
Jedi, look after me, Daisy Jedi. I see Jedi in the chat there. Look after Daisy. Keep singing to Daisy.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Jedi, I like Jedi. I like him.
Yeah, he's
right.
All right.
Thanks for having us on. Speak to you soon.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Brilliant to have you on, John. So anyway, I'm going to be closing it down soon because it's we've covered basically all the topics. But any last things you want to say, Moto, on this subject?
But as in the Decca subject,
yeah.
Nah, really, we've kind of covered everything. Do you know what I mean? I've just got a kind of thing me going me. Obviously, the other fella. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you want to have a different night regarding him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'd be quite happy. I'd be quite happy to come on and speak about him. And what I think about him, because I'll be honest, I think he's every bit as bad. And the reason why I say that is because if what he's on that thing, main laws, like Sarah's law, whatever it is true, well, there's 3 underagers on there, right? Now that to me makes it more and more vulnerable. Loads more vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? Where he's taking full control. Right? And I do know their allegations, right? I do know their allegations, right? I know that, right?
You know,
I've not said he's guilty of them. You know what I mean? But
we'll definitely do that. But Bella here, this is something that always amused me. And Sam paid the consequence for his crime. He's done his jail, FFS. No, Bella, right? This is what I've just been saying, right? Don't go sympathising. He shouldn't be sympathising with himself. Old school criminals, and that's and still the truth today in Italy and the USA, they wouldn't go, oh, I've done my time, now you've got to let me move on. They don't give a damn. They do the time. They get on with it. They don't go out screaming, oh, look at me, I've been wronged because I've got to pay back now. They know the system. They know the system, and if you want to use the term, man enough to turn around and say, here we are. They don't blink victim then. Sam is not a victim by being asked to pay that money back, and he's not a hero by giving it back to the people. The people he's giving it back to them, a lot of them will be on the streets because of what he used to, how he made that money. That's it. So that's why it's just absolutely sickening to hear people who have done things like that to turn around and say, no matter what crime is, like the same with Paddy Conroy. Paddy Conroy isn't a victim of anyone. If Paddy Conroy's getting depressed, get on with it. You lived a life that got you there. Get on with it. That's the rule. You have to.
We all get depressed. I went through a bad state of depression. I actually had a wee argument with you, Anne. Remember when you were saying, "Oh, I was in my bed and it," but I don't think you quite understood.
I didn't at the time. I didn't
at the time. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, fucking hell, man. You know what I mean? And I done a lot of videos from my bed, and even people in the comments were saying, "Oh, you only stay in your bed." But that I was rooted to my bed at one point, and I had to get myself a bit up the arse.
I just saw it as it was, and you know what I'm like. I give my opinion on things, but so I was wrong there, and you know that I was wrong there, and
I know 100%.
So I've gone wrong here, but definitely, you know, you have to get there. They just disappoint me, British gangsters, if you want to call gangsters that. I mean, strangest gangsters I've seen. The whinging a lot of them are whinging little things. Just get out there. Look, another one that gets out there and does it and just doesn't whinge. You say, what's his name? Oh God, I can't remember. You know, we had a big fight with Sean that, but Marvin Herbert. You don't see him going, oh, boo, hoo. He did wrong. He got put in prison. That's it.
Ma-
Another one that you don't hear. Yeah, another
Marvin
one you hear.
Marvin Herbert's as tough as nails.
Yeah, he does it. Another one, Cookie. Cookie's never come on and said, "Oh, poor me, I'm a victim of the system." He hasn't. He accepts it, and that's what you have to do, accept it. And that's what old school, because let's put it this way, you go into any kind of criminal activity, you have to be very brave, extremely brave, and you have to have nerves of steel. But the most important thing is you have to be ready when the time comes to say, all right, I've lost this one. Go on, I'll take my punishment. Then come out, move on. And as I said to him, Sam, I said, just pay the money over. That's the teaching her a lesson here. That's the way they work. And you just hand her over. And then you say, fair cop, guess what? I want it, because there's nothing he's doing. He wants to give children and youths a lesson. But what he does, he says, here we are, I've been punished. Oh, look, I've got to give this money back now. Isn't this terrible? So guess what, kiddies? Don't go down this route if you're thinking about doing it.
Much does he want? Much do they want back off?
It's 30-odd thousand pounds, which isn't much actually, but 30-odd thousand quid. But he's acting like he's some kind of victim. He isn't. That's the way they punish people. It's like, no, go on, time.
The lads I know from this area who are into all that sort of stuff, they always say if you do the crime, you've got to do the time. If you get caught, it's no use moan about it. You've got to own your own shit, sort of thing.
Yeah, you don't cry about it. You just get on and do it, and that's where it's all different now. They are. You get. They're wanting to be celebrities, or they're wanting to be, victims, and it's like, no, just bleed and get on with it. As you say, you've done it. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why, because I actually like Sam. I do like Sam Walker. I find him entertaining. He is entertaining when he goes on, and he could be a really good force for positive, change with people, because he can connect with people. He has got a brilliant personality, but he needs to say, right, here we are. Either I'm going to be that lesson that people are going to learn. In other words, he needs to be what Decca, well, not Decca, what blimey, why did I say that? No way. He needs to be what Darren G.
Soul Tire Awareness. Sorry, I'm just talking to the chat.
Yeah.
Soul Tire Awareness, big up.
If you carry on interrupting me, I'll give you a telling off motor, right? He needs to be, right? He needs to be what Darren G could have been. Darren G could have been a great lesson for the youth, and he messed her up with his behaviour and the way he carries on, but he could have been that lesson. Sam Walker has got a magnetic personality. He can draw people in. He needs to use that for positivity and actually say, right, I'm going to make change. He doesn't do that by whinging. I've got to pay 30 bucks. So what? You got caught. They're punishing you now. Man up to it and do it, or tranny up to it and just take the punishment, whatever you want to say. But that's what I'd say about it. But
what's your verdict on Dan G when he fell out with? Do you think he made the wrong move when he fell out with James English?
He gave up a brilliant opportunity. Let's put it that way.
I think it'd have been flying higher than what he is. He would have been acting a lot different. It'd have been different. His persona would have been different. It's just, I don't know.
What it was with James English, I remember that all happening because me and James English were talking at 1 minute. Then James English was hating on me and all this, and we were arguing with each other. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was. But so I was seeing what was going on behind the background for a lot of the time. But what it was James English was a much better option, much better option than Sean Atwood, because the problem with Sean Atwood is he starts promising people things. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And he would have been doing that to Dan, I can tell you, 100%. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to get your house, and I'm going to get you all this, and we're going to make you famous. Then he doesn't deliver. He doesn't deliver. Aye. He never does. He just goes quiet and ignores the people. So that got Darren G pissed off. But if he'd stuck with James English delivers the goods. And why does James English deliver the goods? Because James English is a much better businessman than Sean Atwood is. James English is 100% business orientated.
I believe James would have had him in accommodation.
Oh yeah, he would have had his life set up. He would. Do you know what? He would have had money in the bank. He would have had all sorts with James English. But what I'm annoyed about James English over is James English was calling the public at the same time doing this with him, because James English let it slip, didn't he? He knew damn well that Darren was still on drugs when he was saying that Darren was clean and being an example. He knew that Darren G, there was things about domestics going on between him and the supporter. He knew all that, but yet he lied to his viewers and made out that Darren was some kind of reformed character. And also, Sean was right in the fact, and I've said this again, I'm no friend of Sean, so I've got no reason to lie for him. James English was working behind the scenes to bring Sean Atwood down. And he saw part of that process as getting Darren G on side. But yet, you're right, he could have made absolutely brilliant things there, inroads.
When I look at it, I see it as, when I look at him, when I look back at his old videos and that, I see him as being paranoid, if you get me. When he's shouting about James English, man, he's just shouting, and he always brought the Irish people into it, saying that they're wanting to get me this and they're wanting to get me that. But I don't think if James English would have took any chances with any of that kind of carry on. I just think he befriended him, liked him the way he was. He got him, all right, he got him the views and all the rest of it, and I think he'd have helped the guy out.
I think he would have, but don't never make the mistake that James English. I know James English from a different side. I've seen him behind the scenes, right, and seen him when he turns nasty. And I know much more about this Sean Atwood situation than people take credit for, which I'm never going to speak about because I don't want to get out there so it creates another explosion or drama fest to kick off. But I can assure you, he's not as sweet and honourable as people think. He does work. He can be nasty. I've got emails there that if I was to release them will cause them a terrible headache. I'm not going to release them because I've got no interest in doing that. I think it would be a spiteful move. It wouldn't get me anything in return. So I'm not going to do it. But get out your head that him or Sean are these honourable people. Neither of them are that. They can be brutal behind the scenes. So he wasn't just using Darren for the sake of wanting to help him out. He was using Darren because, one, he saw it as an avenue, and Sean hit this on the nail. He knew, Sean saw this straight away, that Darren could help bring down Sean Atwood if Darren starts saying things about him. And also, he wanted, which isn't a bad thing. He's a businessman, as I say. He wanted to use Darren to monetize him. Because Darren at the time, people may not remember this, when Darren first came on the scene and was doing all this, he was getting huge views. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands. Now people are just bored with him, and it's just the same old. He gets views, then, people aren't interested, but he was getting huge views. So it would have been in James English's interest.
It's because of the way he acts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
but
of the way
thing is, Darren, which people have to realise, he's got serious mental health issues, and you're not going to be able to cure that or fix it. So he will always be, look, he's done it 1 minute, he's friendly with Decca. Excuse me, then he's falling out with him. He'll till the day he goes into his grave, that will be his plight. Should we sympathise with him? I say, yeah, I do sympathise with him. But should we pull him when he does go on his horrible behaviour, the way it carries on? Certainly should. Having a mental illness does not excuse everything. And unless someone, I say, is fully unaware, let's say someone like, saying the name, but I'll say someone like Johnny Woodsman has no control over the way he acts, as far as I can say. So you can't hold him to account. Darren does have some control, because he can be the sweet little thing when he wants to be, that way, so he can control us. But that's the way. Moto's scared of spiders. Are you scared of
What's
spiders,
that?
Moto? Humble saying that he's scared of spiders.
I liked one of Jedi's comments saying he's never met a gangster in his life. Is there such a thing? What is a gangster? Do you get what I'm talking
Not
about?
in Britain, there's no such thing. If
Nah.
there are gangsters, I tell you now, you don't hear about them. And the reason you don't hear about them is gangsters stuff go shouting up. Gangsters aren't the ones that go around beating people up. They have the little underlings to do that, because then their underlings will go to prison if they're found out. Gangsters are millionaires who are millionaire businessmen. That's what a gangster is. What you talk about, what calls a gangster here, is nothing more than a thug. And a stupid one like that, because they're all thick as well, right? So
like a gang member kind of thing. That people perceive it as a gang member, as in a right dude, one of the kind of. Do you get what I'm talking about? Like a kind of street corner kind of guy. Yeah, see, I get comments for people we need obviously need subscribers and just new accounts saying, "Oh, you think you're a gangster?" No, I don't think I'm a gangster, mate.
No, you've
I
never
know
said
what I'm. I've never said anything like that. I know what I'm a. Do you know what I mean? I know what skills I've got. I know what I can do. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? And that's about it in a nutshell. Do you know what I mean?
Here we are. Here's one. Spot on, Minto. You've got it nailed down. The real gangsters are politicians. They're all in, and that's. I know what you mean by that, but also it's true to say they get into politics as well. They have a habit of getting into politics. Real gangsters. So you hit that on the head, Minto. Brilliant. But yeah,
well, let's just say a gangster can make you disappear and never get convicted. It. Know what I mean? That would be my thing, me. Do you know what I mean?
That would be my.
If somebody was causing problems and somebody wanted rid of certain somebody, that would be my perception of a gangster. Do you know what I mean? Who would be able to have pull to get rid of somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's not as say. It's not what we or what the British call a gangster. It's just not strong. That's what gets me going. You see all these podcasts. Oh, this guy. Sean does it all the time, doesn't he? This gangster, that gangster, and it's like, oh, Sean, stop! Don't make me laugh. Gangster. You know, it's just absolutely pathetic.
I remember he had thing me on, and I'll be honest, I've took a disliking to fucking what's his face, big lanky, big specky lanky. What's his specs? You don't know him. Sits with Dolly, the dog.
Dolly.
Lazar.
Oh, Lazar, yeah.
Right. So when Lazar burst onto the scene, he was on Sean Atwood's, and he was portraying himself as an ex-gangster, and he was saying then Somalians were popping. Somalians just popped out in area, and then he got up with a machete right across, and he pointed to his head, and he see a scar right down there. There wasn't even a scar there. There was, and I remember it was Thingway who was poking holes in his story. My favourite demon broke it down, who was quite good.
Yeah.
And he absolutely ripped him a new arsehole. Absolutely ripped him a new arsehole. Do you know what I mean? And at this, and what he says was, at this time, I believe my favourite demon was saying, I believe at this time, Sean Atwood is looking at this guy and saying, "You're full of shite, and why you pulling him up on it?" Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we won't. He's known. Do you remember he had that fella on with all the tattoos, and this fella was going on about not John Venables. Who's the other fella? Yeah, it was John Venables, wasn't it? He was saying that he was beaten up and attacked because he'd murdered all his family. And it was like, wait a minute, what are you going on about? And Sean was told straight away, he's telling lies here. He wasn't in prison. He was the James Bulger, one of the murderers of James Bulger.
Yeah.
Now, Sean said, all right. Then a few months later, Sean puts the clip up again of him saying this as if it's fact. And it's so Sean doesn't care whether someone's lying through the teeth there or not. But I'll say something about the Somalis, right? Remember in the police, it used to be very fascinating. The Somalis, you hardly ever seen two people you don't ever see coming in the station to report crimes amongst their own community. Was one, the Somalis and the Chinese communities. And I mean, the Chinese, we have a Chinatown, the oldest community in Liverpool, Chinese community, and you'd never get them coming into, if they came into the police, it was serious. But when a young Somali lad would be pulled in, they'd get him in the room. And I used to be sitting there and be laughing and going, oh, we've got you again now. And they'd be all dead cocky, to the police really cocky and in the faces and being smart. And all that the coppers had to say was, right, we'll just go and go to your home, we'll keep you here and we'll have a word with your mama that you've got us in here. We'll just have a word with your mama. Do you know what, Moso? They would panic. Begging, please don't tell me, mama. Please, I'm begging you, don't. Whatever you want, I'll do it. Don't tell me, mama. And I asked once a Somali woman that I knew, said, why did they do that? Oh, she said, you haven't got a clue. She said, a real Somali mother. She said, my God, she said, you don't know what a nag is. She said, they'll start, it will be all, oh, you brought disgrace. Oh, the shame of it, the police calling on me, done all this. And they said, that will start. First thing in the morning, the poor son will get up, walk in the room and be mourning mum. And it will be, oh, then dinner, it will be the same. And this will go on for days. They said they'd rather be beaten to a pulp than have the others told that. And that's the truth. They that was straight away. Don't tell me, mama, please don't. But that's because, of course, back in Somalia, there's nothing people forget. These youths have seen, especially if they just come from Somalia or not long from Somalia, they've seen the most horrendous things going on. I mean, it's really bad things they see. And the police over there, we think they're corrupt here, they're really corrupt over there. So definitely they don't want the police getting involved in their lives. And they think that about any kind of police. But yet I used to find the Chinatown, the Chinese from Chinatown and the Somalis, they sort of have their own problems themselves. They don't like getting the police involved at all. It's all right, Diane. I'll be finishing off soon anyway. But thanks for coming on, Don. And don't forget what Whitey Creature said. He's wanting to do it. So we're going to have you on dancing because Diane is a dances on, she's so funny. She dances on the YouTube and puts these really brilliant Instagram messages up. But also, we've got Whitey Creature, which he doesn't want to come back and do Whitey Creature, the person I'm talking about, but we're putting up a petition to bring back Whitey Creature, which is a rabbit. Right. Anyway, so what I'll do, Mojo, I'll start closing it down now. But
that's fine.
Brilliant for calling. I'll call in on one of yours and we'll have another live. We will. And most probably we'll get on the subject of Decca again. And everyone watch this thing by Biggie Joe Craig tomorrow. This was it? Where's the way it got on me? This show, not show, what you call it? This documentary he's doing on Decca, this reveal. Definitely watch that 8 o'clock tomorrow. And to everyone in the chat, thank you. And Kelsey, thank you for being a brilliant mod again. And everyone, thank you, because people, the vast majority, have been absolutely great. And even though they want to say something that they're not a fan of me or a fan of someone, they've said it with respect, the vast majority. So you're always welcome as long as you say things with respect. Great stuff. So
Chelsea, happy belated birthday as well, mate. I've just noticed it was your birthday there.
Happy birthday, Chelsea. Happy birthday, darling. So Anyway, and thank you to John if you're still there for calling on, because that was absolutely fascinating. I'm glad you did call on. So take care, everyone. Take care, Moses, and speak to you soon.
No worries. Catch you later.
Bye now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.